My name is Joshua Bryant. I'm a student at a local university. I'm here because I believe that we can actually affect change in the world. I think that we need to.
Okay, so I'm Beverly, and I'm a lawyer.
I'm Maki. I'm a public defender in Boston.
My name's Joe.
So I am Chris, and I'm from Worcester.
My name's Terry Post.
I'm Rob. I live here in Worcester. I serve tables.
My name's Martin. I go to Clark University here in Worcester.
My name's Kevin. I'm from Northbridge, Mass. I'm here in Occupy Worcester. It's my closest occupation to where I live.
My name's Randy. I am from the Worcester area.
My name is Jason Eldridge.
I choose to cover my face and not give my name because I believe this movement's bigger than me.
Stress that it's not just here. The movement started in the U.S. It started on Wall Street with a couple of people going down and saying, okay, we're going to set up an occupation. We're going to stay here until we affect change. And now it's all over the place.
The system is broken and it needs to be fixed.
Only people who have enough money can run for office. And that's kind of like what my sign says here. When money equals power, there is no democracy.
Just as easily as we can be mad at the corporations for doing these things, I'm just as upset at the government for allowing them to do it.
Why are you guys standing out in the middle of the road at 12 o'clock at night in the freezing cold? Like, the same people that go home and complain that they can't pay their bills or that their kids are racking up college tuition bills that they can't pay. You can't buy good food for your family. It's a full circle kind of thing, and everybody's affected by it.
The occupation is a forum for discussion at this point. For me, what I want, why I occupy, is because I'd like to see the removal of corporate personhood.
Take huge handouts from the government when they fail, promoting this whole free trade dream. And then when they fail, they run to the government and they ask for help. But when we run to the government, we ask for help. The government's nowhere to be found.
We have to find some really creative solutions to these immense problems that are facing us, but we won't have the resources or the political will to tackle any of them if we keep letting the corporations set the agenda. And the two political parties are basically both sides of the same corporate coin.
The CEOs that make $1 million and multi-million-dollar bonuses every year for companies that are obviously failing get tax breaks, and they pay a lower percentage of their income for taxes than I pay for mine.
I would absolutely love to not pay any taxes. It would be great.
We've really gotten off track in terms of equality in this country, and that it's become an issue where we're not inheriting a world that has as much promise for us as it did for our parents or our grandparents.
Shows how much we're fed up with society and how we can create a new one based on human need for ourselves, by ourselves. And that's kind of the symbol of occupation for me.
Well, I've gotten involved in the Worcester anti-foreclosure team since I started with Worcester Occupy. I've gotten involved and helped organize with some of the neighborhood cleanups we've done. Everything that comes along my way nowadays, I jump right in because I'm just tired of sitting on the sidelines complaining when I can actually try to get out and do something about it.
Worcester's a little different. The city's run by a city manager who's basically used as many intimidation tactics as he possibly can. Like moving us from the sidewalk to the grass, to the sidewalk to the grass, threatening to steal all of our stuff, including our signs, taking away our free speech, our freedom to assemble. And the city is wonderful, but an unelected official deciding these things for us is pretty undemocratic.
The way our city system works is we elect council members who hire a city manager.
The city manager, as a function of government, is sort of an interesting thing. I don't know how many places have this style of government. Worcester hasn't had it forever. It's a pretty recent development. We got a city manager, I think, in 1985. I could be wrong about the exact year, but it was in the 80s. And what happened was the city charter was changed to create sort of a CEO position for running city government.
Calling a city manager, but all these years is a high-priced CEO that gets favor with the city council by giving them raises.
Everybody was charged with trespassing. A couple of people were charged with other things like malicious destruction or disturbing the peace. But generally, people are only being charged with trespassing.
You have a person who basically dictates almost all of the policy in the city and controls all of the divisions of city government, but he's not accountable, he or she, whoever it might be, is not accountable directly to the voters.
They're trespassing on public space, so it's kind of interesting how the police and how the city is interpreting their trespassing laws, because I think the movement people feel that how can you be trespassing? It's public space.
When you're a city councilor, you need to get things done, right? Like that's how you keep your job. And so the city manager is the person at the end of the day who can get those things done for them or not get those things done for them. So it puts these councilors in a very awkward position.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a very legitimate legal question there, because to be trespassing, you have to be on property without a legal right, and I think that there's a pretty strong argument that when you're on public property, you have a legal right to be there.
And even if you're on the public property exercising your First Amendment rights, you kind of even have more reason to be there. So we're kind of confused about how they're interpreting their laws.
So you have a person who runs your city government who's only accountable to one body of government that seems to be completely petrified of the city manager. And so what you wind up with, essentially, in my eyes, is a dictatorship.
During the Great Depression, we had basically an occupation of downtown New York. Not many people are still alive to remember that, the people who were there anyways, but the government didn't shut them down. That was considered freedom of speech. They were there because they were voicing their concerns with the government. And for some reason now we've kind of turned that around and we've actively started oppressing our freedom of speech in this country, and it's wrong.
When you have an action or a protest or something like that, it goes and it starts and it does its thing and then it ends and then it's sort of it's gone. And what I think has set the Occupy movement apart from things that have happened recently is the fact that it's always here. It's very difficult to ignore, and it makes people pay attention.
We are Occupy Worcester!
We are Occupy Worcester!
We are the 99%!
We are the 99%!
We will be heard!
We will be heard!
We are here to stay!
We are here to stay!
We're doing a can and coat drive.
650,000 people moved out of the big banks into credit unions.
We're participating in city council.
Ludicrous idea, it seems, not to work for profits, but to work for, your community.
Most of these people have places that they could go and stay inside, but there's symbolism behind this. What we don't understand is that there's, millions of people that don't have places to go that are warm, right? And this is what this is supposed to show people. Show them that we'll stay outside until they have a place to go inside too.
The first step in doing something about something like that is to get together. There's power in numbers.
We don't need to stand for this anymore, and people all over the country are saying we've had enough and something has to be done.
Truly an amazing way to solve problems. People coming together where everyone has a voice and everyone has a hope.
Everyone can look around and see there's something going wrong here. Time has come to change the system.